Our future depends on courage, determination, and a shared dream. Hard work creates bonds. We each play our part, and we find strength in the knowledge that our contribution promises a better life for all. Grounded in principle, driven by passion, and dedicated to our proposition, we invest in the present to raise the future. Brown Advisory, supporting the global equine community.
109 years of human life and two hands screaming, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, now. Retinas racing out of their sockets, scouting for the millimetre of tarmac between euphoria and the grass. 120 decibels booming in your bone marrow. Take a deep breath in.
The final leg of Major League show jumping for the individual competitors brings us to California, to the Desert International Horse Park. This is the last Grand Prix of the season with $1 million on the line in prize money. This is the big one.
Certainly is, and we bought them from far and wide, from the USA, from Canada, from Mexico, across from Europe, all across the globe, competing for this massive end-of-season finale for the individual riders. The Coachella Valley, famous for the sporting stars and movie stars, and here our own script to play out this week. So let's get to it for the $1 million final. The $1 million Coachella Cup, the final of the individual competitions here for Major League this year. And where better than here at the Desert Horse Park? La Quinta, the home of many famous faces over the years, from the movies right through to, of course, top-class sport these days. Whether it's the PGA Tour or the ATP Tour, it's tennis, golf, and now jumping here too. We bring the final here for a third year, Hannah. It's been an amazing year, which we're going to talk about a little later on. But let's start talking about how this championship is playing out.
Yeah, it's been an incredible year with some real standout performances. You know, Carl Cook, he's leading the way in the individual standings. He's on 28 points, and that's off the back of the fact that he's won 2 Grand Prix, the only rider to have done that. Just behind him, we have Lily Keenan, of course, winner in Ottawa, and then Kent Farrington and Erin Ballard, they're on the same points. Kent Farrington had that great win at Angelstone close to Toronto, and then Erin Ballard's been very consistent, been in the top 5 3 times this year. And
the thing is here, it's actually very wide open because it's double points on the final, which means 24 points to the winner. You talked about there, Carl Cook, 28 points. You start to realise that there's still a long way to go for this. But the big 3 in there, as you say, are looking really strong because they've bought some serious horses here too.
Yeah, some amazing horses on the line. You know, we've got some World Championship rides. You know, Erin Ballard's got Gakir here. Lily Keenan has her World Championship ride as well. Then, you know, you look at Carl Cook as well. Kalinka, that's the horse with whom he won the Grand Prix here last year, so it's extremely strong.
Carl on home ground. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. We're also going to catch up with Lily Keenan too. For them as well, there's a few hovering in between. And the thing is that to also point out this year that we've got quite a few of the Europeans now in the game. We've got Gregory Wathelet here. We've got Keane O'Connor here. We've got some strong players all the way through. This is not going to be easily won. This is not a walk in the park.
Yeah, 100%. We've got some fantastic riders, as you say, from all across the world. European Championship riders, Olympic riders as well. Gregory Wathelet, of course, has to be one to look out for. Connor Swale's been very strong all season as well. definitely another rider to look out for. Some British riders as well coming to the fore, so plenty to look out for.
Basically, it's a big shake-up of who might take the Coachella Cup here for the final of the championship for Major League Show Jumping. An amazing year that it has been, and we've been to some wonderful venues, some wonderful stories around the Grand Prix there as well. Let's give you a little rundown of what it looked like. Lily Keenan joins us, and Lily, of course, you're second in the championship right now, but it's been quite the season.
Yeah, it's been an amazing year so far. I have some very special horses which make that possible, and I am just really glad that I joined the league last year, and hopefully I can finish the season on a strong note.
For you, you said league had upped your game. You then went the Grand Prix win in Monterey, you've then gone to the win in Ottawa. How are you feeling about it now, another 12 months down the line?
Yeah, I mean, when I joined the league last year, I think I was somewhere around maybe 70th in the world. I honestly now have lost track. Now I'm in the top 30, and I've been in the top 30 for most of this year. Obviously, there's multiple factors to why that happened, but a big part of it was joining the league. I was quite consistent through some pretty major Grand Prix, and yeah, it's hopefully just the beginning of even climbing a bit more up the ranks.
Certainly. And Hannah, it's made it pretty open for Lily coming into the final championship.
Yeah, you know, you're in second place, Lily, and you know, of course, Stephen mentions that fantastic win in Ottawa, but you've been really consistent. Talk to us a little bit about the horses that you've used and who you might bring this week.
So the first Grand Prix that I actually won in Monterey, I used a horse called Queensland. And then after that, I jumped faster in quite a few of the Major League 5-stars, and I was top 3 a few times. He was really a weapon for those classes. Unfortunately, he is out of action right now, so I couldn't bring him here. But I was able to bring my white horse, Argan de Belliard, which is the partner that I won Ottawa with. So obviously he's also a very loaded gun to be bringing to a major Grand Prix. So he's the horse that I'm aiming for the really big one this week. And I jumped him yesterday in the meter 40, and I'm going to be saving all of the goods for Saturday night.
How do you rate your chances? Because it's a big lineup here this week, and you know, you've got to have an eye on Carl Cook, but there are some big names right behind you.
Absolutely. I think that this season the league has grown so much. There's multiple people that have a chance to win, and some very good horses here. I'm not the only one with the idea of coming here and trying to really pull ahead. I think all of the top guys are. So I think I have a good chance. I really try to just focus on myself and stick to my routine and what I've been doing. And if I have a little bit of luck, then it'll work out on my side.
Do you enjoy that when you look at a field like this week and go, this is really strong? Does that give you more of a thrill more than a week you're going, ooh?
Oh, yeah, it's way more fun.
Yeah.
I spent quite a bit of time showing in Europe, and there was a couple seasons really I was jumping shows that frankly were above my head, and I was against the best in the world. And I am so grateful I did that. And I really now I realize how much that kind of changed my riding and my mentality. Being in the lineup with some really strong combinations that just, for me, makes me more hungry. And I know I have to be that much better. So I think it's the most fun when we have the best riders that are here, and they are obviously all trying to win the big money. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And so, final one for you. What's Lily Keenan bringing to the table this week? What do you think you've got over the rest to take home this Coachella Cup?
My horse. My edge this week is my horse. My horse is incredibly reliable, consistent. He is always trying to win and on my side. So I would say this week that's really my advantage, is that I have Oregon and no one else does.
Absolutely. Well, good luck this week, Lily. Could be at the top of the championship.
Thank you.
Well, great to see and hear from Lily Keenan. Of course, she's one of the chasing pack for the title of the championship this year. But of course, we couldn't go far without catching up with last year's Grand Prix winner here, twice Grand Prix winner this season and leader of the championship. That is, of course, on home base, Californian Carl Cook.
Carl, thank you for joining us. It's a big Grand Prix this week. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. The horse is jumping well, on fresh legs. We've been keeping it light since Barcelona, so I think we got a shot.
It's a big deal to be leading a championship. Is there any extra pressure?
I mean, yes and no. You know, the thing is, with such a high money Grand Prix this week, you know, it counterbalances a lot of, you know, the work earlier in the year, and so it's just another class. You still have to go out and jump double clear. You have to go fast to the jump off, and it's the same as any week.
As a professional, I'm wondering, how many times have you looked at that league table and worked out the stipulations?
0. You know, the goal is always still the same: jump clear, go fast. So it doesn't matter where you're standing because the goal is still the same. You know, whether you're last in the standings or not, the goal is still jump clear and go fast and jump off.
As a man who's won 2 this season, the only man to do so, and on 2 different horses, what can we expect to see on Saturday? And, you know, can you tell us who you're riding?
I'm running Clink on Saturday, the same one I won one of those 5 stars on. And, you know, I think you can expect a really big course, but also a course that is set for the people. There's a lot of really great horse rider combinations, so it will be big, but it will be conquered and it will be jumped, and I think it'll be a really great event with an exciting jump off.
Just finally, as a local lad as well, does that have any issues? Does it present a new challenge or anything like that?
I don't think it presents a new challenge. I think it just presents more upside. You know what I mean? Like, it's still the same challenge, but if you're successful, there's more upside because, you know, you're the local person.
Oh, we look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
The closing moments before the start of the $1 million Coachella Cup here in the desert. Paul O'Shea, Kent Farrington have put their name on the trophy for the individual title of Major League Jumping in the previous years. Who will do it in year 3?
There are so many riders to look at in the individual standings, so many who've brought some fantastic horses. Kent Farrington, not want to be discounted. Erin Ballard, Lily Keenan, who we've heard from. Carl Cook, of course, is the season standings leader, and another one not to be discounted, but it's anyone's game tonight.
Certainly is. It's a long list of stars once again here in the desert. So we're going to head up to the commentary box to get this underway. Yes, the night has rolled in and we are ready for competition, and this is what it looks like in the starting order this year for this $1 million Coachella Cup. And we've said it again, this is the individual final for Major League Jumping. They've come from Norway, USA, of course, represented in the early run here with Vanessa Hood and Matt Archer. Brazil with Cassio Rivetti, Californian-based for the Olympian. Amy Miller of Canada. Tiffany Foster, winner of the opening stage of those Grand Prix you saw a few moments ago on a home ground in Vancouver. Ireland, I mentioned there, Olympic medalist Cian O'Connor. Jimmy Turano with the very consistent Chewbacca. Mark Blumen of Colombia too with Ubala. Lily Keenan goes in the first 10 with Arganda Belliard. As she said, she's bringing out some serious weapons to take home this Grand Prix, maybe. Carl Cook comes up fast after that, so that is really going to shape things in the early part of the order with Carl, with Kalinka, Caitlin Campbell of the USA, and then on to Cara Chad of Canada. Belgium's Gregory Wathelet, superstar, makes his way over, and he's gone so well here last winter too, and he's very much at home at the Desert Horse Park. Winner at Tryon, Niall Nassar. Coronado this time for the Egyptians, 16th of the order of those to go. And then also in contention for the title is Erin Ballard, a really consistent year with Gakia, and then finishing second in Monterey in the Grand Prix there. Richie Maloney, Mario Delorier, Callie Schott take us through our first 20 in the order of the start list of the Grand Prix here tonight, with a total of 35 that we'll see in order in round one of competition. As ever, the pressure is on, but the pressure is on especially those in taking through the rest as we go. But the latter part of the order, seeing the likes of Kent Farrington in there, of course, who's going to be close on that title, Ashley Bond, Daniel Bloom and Connor Swale will make it very strong indeed. Those are our officials presiding over competition here. Pepe Gamara, as is known, president of the grand jury. Malou's made her way here for the grand jury. She's been president at several events. And for the USA, Katie Frank and Flora from Brazil is our foreign judge here this week as well. Great to welcome them here alongside, of course, our course designing teams and many more. Let's head out to Hannah for the start of competition.
What an amazing in prize money here tonight, and the big guns are out in force with some incredible horses to look out for as well. We've got many of the world's top riders in attendance here, several of the world's top 30 who will all be battling it out for that prize money. We also have Olympic riders, World Championship riders, European Championship riders. I cannot stress to you enough what an amazing lineup we have. Incredible lineup, even half of the competition here. You saw their European Championship riders, Gregory Watley and of course Connor Swale there as well. And this is the final of the individual season for Major League show jumping, with those riders that we just heard about going for the top spot. You can't look past Carl Cook, certainly someone to keep an eye on, and he brings his winning ride from last year here tonight. But can he do the double? Let's take a look, though, at the course that they'll be tackling. It's a very, very stiff test that has been set by the team here tonight. A long left-handed turn now. They can gallop down the arena over to the Major League show jumping triple combination. That's really technical and requires such careful riding. And then it's 6 strides down to the cactus upright, again very much up to height and an extremely technical part of the course tonight. It's a left-handed rollback all the way around to fence 10, the lifeboat fences, and then 4 strides to fence 11, the purple and white coloured fence, again very much up to height at 1.60 m. Right-handed then to number 12, the butterflies, then 5 strides to 13A and B. And then this final fence is the Brown Advisory Oxer to finish. It's 1.70 m in width. These are really huge fences, and it's such a stiff test that has been set here. It requires speed, it requires accuracy, it requires power, and what a lineup of horses we have here to tackle this course. They are experienced in an enormous range of top-level competitions. You've got the likes of Gakia with Erin Ballard, and of course, she's going for the points in the season standings as well. Taking a look down, we've got younger horses like Ace of Hearts with Gregory Watley, and then Kalinka that we mentioned with Carl Cook. Ashley Bond brings Donatello forward, former 5-star Grand Prix winner. We have an enormous number of top horses in attendance. But we'll hand over now to our anthem singer. Our anthem singer tonight will be River Berry Pierce. She's a 17-year-old student who lives in Palm Desert, California. She began her singing career at just 5 years old and is now in her 2nd year at the Academy of Musical Performance. She's going to take us through the national anthem to get things kicked off tonight.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, here we go, and it is going to be our first lineup for tonight for this brand advisory 5-star $1 million Coachella Cup, and looking forward to how this is going to all come together. We've got an exciting lineup, as Hannah said, as we've done in the build-up all the way here, and this is going to be our first on course. They're bringing them in from literally all over. Norway starts us off with Marie Valda Longum and Echo de Verton. And Marie, who also made her way out here to California earlier on this year as part of the circuit there. She's based in Belgium, and here finishing top 3 of the Grand Prix back into March, over back to Europe as well, as they based over in the centre of Europe, second in Drammen in Norway Grand Prix there, and the next up in the Danish Grand Prix too, finishing top 5. So taking us around this of Alan Wade's course, set up for this competition. Cabana Coast to start us off 140, 150. Aston Martin fence coming up at fence 6, and that's one that's getting into our early, pretty well full up to height, 1.60 m fences early on in the course at fence 4. Back to the triple bar again. He's using different test and deciding to pull up there for Marie Longum and Echo de Verton early on. As the triple bar down, bounces that one, gets thrown forward off their balance. It's going to slide by it, and so decides to take a leave of absence at that point for Marie, unfortunately. Takes it swiftly on to Vanessa Hood and Vins van de Toppie for Vanessa, who's originally hailed from, been based out here in California at various parts of her life and career, now over in Wellington, Florida, with the Take 2 LLC's new ride for her this year. Trains with McLean Ward, and for her, this was a horse actually McLean was riding earlier on into the year, won several big classes in Wellington, Florida as well. And Vanessa returning to the limelight, having competed at the World Cup finals before now in her career. Then went on to a completely different career, a mum since then as well, and now decided to go back into the saddle and take on the best, and she's been doing it very successfully too. Competing in Toronto a few weeks ago in the World Cup show there. Wall comes up early on at fence 2, and again you want to then try and get the 7 longer strides down there to 3. Should come on the 8 here up to the Aston Martin fence. Delicate fence there as well, and as we said, just short of 160. Then different test, stretch out over this triple bar, and this is going to start to get very short. Should just be coming down here on the 4 strides. Does it very nicely indeed, and down to some just plain rustic poles there from that point of view. Makes it a little harder to focus on. On to our next, and going well at the moment. Now, just a reminder, the time allowed is 86 seconds. And a chance to make or lose some ground. Gets pretty tall through that triple combination. Just drops the back bar on the way out of there. And to the plain green rails of the cactus fence at fence 9, again full up 1.60 meters. Turn back now to 10. Water tray under the life floats there, and again on 4 strides, but he's taking you down to a plank, and that's just going to ride a touch on the longer side. We'll see. And what's really interesting is this line, because in theory they're going to come down here on 5 longer strides. That's going to get really quite tight in the second part of that double, and then finally down to the Brown advisory fence at the last. It's going to take them to a score of 8 plus some time, 90.52. Like I say, time allowed of 86 seconds, so time to add there 13 for Vanessa Hood, and Vince as the first of those to complete. So shows us the way. Not the score that's going to be in full competitive mode tonight, but good to get round. As I say, and all the way through the season she's been stepping up, and that is going to be one of the biggest courses that Vanessa has jumped in recent times as well, so well done to her, sort of finishing there with some time to add a total of 13 for Vanessa Hood. And now to Matt Archer of California, of the Reese Farms of Woodside, California, Monseigneur. And Matt, who trains with Dick Carvin out here in California from the Shady Lane Farm, San Francisco. Actually finished well in the World Cup qualifiers in recent weeks. That was back indoors in Sacramento, and also finishing well in the Grand Prix qualify there as well. So it's one that could come out of the pack here that maybe a few of those big names are not expecting, and he's had a good consistent season so far in 2023. Monseigneur, Belgian Warmblood by Halifax Van Het Clusabos, which was a top-class World Championship ride with Lorenzo De Luca of Italy. The ball could land well there again. If they land a little bit short down there, it's going to make it a long way down to the back bar of that Premier Equestrian fence. Taking it neatly so far, makes up a little bit of pace around that turn, fires up to get across that triple bar, and then you see it just starts to get very short coming out of that line. Just over the 18 meters down that line from 5 to 6. Second one racks up very quickly. Alan Wade, highly experienced, built the World Cup finals in Omaha for a second time. World Championship course designer back in 2018 as well. Just has to reach on the way out of that triple combination. Roll back here and again, keep the balance, but keep the movement coming too. You've got to get across this Oxer. 150. Plank rides well there, and again it's just trying to get your right line down here without cutting the corner too much. Getting down there on the 5. Just has to reach a little bit for it, because again it's going to ride a little bit longer there, so if they're just not quite up to it, it's going to get a very long way. Total of 16 plus 1 for time, 86.81 for Matt Archer and Monseigneur. Gives a little bit more of a clue in terms of the time. I think it's going to ride okay for a lot of the big guns from that side of things. It's going to be a little more pacey from some of those that are more used to riding into these big 5-star Grand Prix, but I say a good solid performance from Matt throughout 2023 so far. Just a bit of a reach into that double, and that is going to probably be one of the key parts of the course. But Alan is very good at spreading the troubles around the track, or the tests. It's the questions he's asking, that's what you've got to answer. Cassio Rivetti and Edessa's Vidal 8 for the next the riders for Brazil. Twice Olympian, London and Rio, 3 times World Championships. And this is a good pairing as well, coming off some good form. Finished third in the World Cup qualifier in Sacramento, and just had that one down in the Vegas running of the World Cup a few weeks ago as well. Highly successful business that he runs out here in California now. This is the Monarch Farms of Rancho Santa Fe's Oldenburg by the World Championship 2010 winner. Vigo da Sway is the father of this horse. Has to balance things up there, gets a little bit excited down that line. Cassio, terrific rider. He's based out in Europe for quite some time. He's chosen to base here out on the west coast. A little bit of a move over to the right, makes enough space down that line too. He's going to get very interesting early on. A lot of probably going to be watching Cassia Rivetti for a good gauge of how this course is going to play out. Triple combination. 2 tall verticals, and again you get up and he is enough to get across. Just gets very tall down that line, and again just keep enough impetus coming. And that one's going to get a little bit more stretched out down there. Just pushes off the plank, gets low into that. Moves it up for the 5. There was a question of whether it's 6, but it would get very, very tight for that. And again, you might create some other problems. 86.44, so he's just a fraction over time as well. He did have 1 or 2 moments of getting steady in that round. 1 for time for Cassia Rivetti and Odestas Vidal. Again, for this pair, not for him as a rider, but as a pairing, that again is going to be one of the biggest tracks they have jumped. Makes a little move to the right there, makes some space, straightens it up coming out here at the plank. That's where it costs them a rail. Amy Miller and Truman for the Canadian. Very early on, we're going to be firing some big guns here. Amy Miller, Tiffany Foster, Cian O'Connor coming up within our first 10, and topping out that first 10 will be Lily Keenan with, an eye on that championship. Pressure on those with the likes of Carl Cook. Carl, he's looking for first and second if he wants to get it done and dusted tonight. It's all going to depend on where everybody else starts sitting at that point. Lily Keenan, at the end of the day, as Carl was saying a little bit earlier on, they've got their eyes on the #1 spot here, and that is what is needed to really guarantee that top spot. But Lily Keenan and Carl Cook coming one after the other. Amy Miller and Truman coming in on the back of course, a fantastic medal result down at the Pan Am Games for a team silver there just a few weeks ago, back to Santiago. Championship and Olympic rider. It's up there on the 8, should ride nicely on the 8 up to the Aston Martin rails. Again, you just don't want to get too pedestrian in the early part of the course. Holding back and still not getting enough room down there. Classic test, move them out over the triple bar, and again they will want to get deep into there to get high over it, land and make as much space as they can. Middle rail. Again, it just feels high, if that makes sense. Just feels tall coming through there. Again, just finding enough energy to really ping off for a second time and get that second vertical. Moves up well down to the plank. Gets there on the 5. Again, time-wise is going to be over that. Alan has given them plenty to think about here because they're trying to pick their way around this course. And okay, for the likes of Amy Miller, a couple of fences down in the early to middle part of the course, so maybe not putting quite so much pressure on. But adds 2 for time, total of 10 at 87.08 for Amy and Truman this time around. So Cassia Rivetti's 5 is the best out of the pack so far. Again, how much the rest will be digesting that. How much they're going to just stick to their plan. Tiffany Foster, Hamilton, what a terrific start to the season for her in Major League jumping. And she's another one in contention for the title individually here as well. She'd need to get there with a top spot. We talked about this a little bit earlier on. It's double points for the individual championship here this week as well. A lot is also going to depend on what Carl Cook does. Tiffany Foster, magic win for her in Vancouver in the Grand Prix. Literally home ground at Langley, British Columbia. Her mum's been involved in that venue as well for a long time, alongside, of course, Chris Pack and the Tidball family. And it's been somewhere she grew up, and Dow adds her first 5-star Grand Prix there as well. And Tiff also coming on the back of being part of that team at the recent Pan Am Games. Team silver there. She was gold back in 2015, and now to draw on that experience for this $1 million Coachella Cup. Just gives that a little scare down that line. Again, landed, took the pace off, tightened it back up. Now you can see she lengthens out, doesn't want to lose time there. Like I say, it's a long run there. Just got to be careful you don't drift up to this line. Find yourself losing seconds. Well through the triple combination for Tiffany. Again, comes off there, gets going. See, just puts a little bit more speed and impulsion down there because it just rides a little bit longer down that line, and now you're going to need it here again. Lengthens it up then, says whoa, because she knows it's going to get tight, and it gets too tight. Such a delicate balance of the pace down that line. Finishing on the 4, she's over the time as well at 86.46. So a total of 5 for Tiffany and Hamilton. And again, the likes of Carl Cook may well be registering some of these that are possible contenders for his getting ever closer championship title. Tiffany Foster, though, we've got 2 of them on 5 at the moment, Tiffany Foster and Cassio Rivetti. Cian O'Connor mentioned we've got some big names from Europe here now as part of this Major League Tour. He was with us in Mexico just a few weeks ago, and now with Maurice for the Irishman, one of several in the field here, of course, today. Olympic bronze medalist from London. He's been a European gold medalist as well. And Maurice, a recent addition, and actually their second 5-star show together was with Omar Karayevli before that. Rode down in Mexico a few weeks ago. And actually was a horse that was a young rider's horse back in 2022, then went on to the Senior European Championships with Omar, and now into the well-established Carlswood Cian O'Connor stable. Makes a move across the first. Again, he's very conscious, do not lose time. Get there, get quickly into the turn, and again, turn back from 1 to 2 is one where Alan's just put you out there, and it's, you don't want to be in the early part of your round just being again a little steady about things, thinking it's okay, I'll get going. Cian O'Connor is so good at planning things out. As a trainer, explaining it to the pupils through, works with the watchmen children, some of them a bit older than that, teens as they are now. And again, moves up. It'll be really interesting to see how Cian's round comes out here. Just scrambles a little going into the triple combination. Cian and Maurice doing well though to come out there with just the one down. Nicely balanced on the turn. Gets the 4 all right as needed. And again, Alan is, as much as he's got you going forward in places, he's got you going backwards. Now he really moves down that line, does it really nicely, pings through in that boxed up 1 stride. Good shot at the last of the Brown Advisory fence, our sponsors, of course, of tonight's big class. He also finishes on the 1 time, finishing on 5:86.05, and again, maybe a little of the pressure coming off as he has the 1 fence down. But he knows too that 4 faults could well have been in some big money. But as I say, early stages with this combination too. He's got to balance that up. Moves on nicely down to the last, and drops him on the 5. So 3 on the 5 so far with Cian O'Connor, with Tiffany Foster, and with Cassio Rivetti. Jimmy Turano brings great experience to this with Chewbacca HCC. Horse by Clarimo for the team from Wellington, Florida. Jimmy, highly accomplished rider from World Cup finals to Grand Prix wins through a long, illustrious career that's included everything from not only the jumpers but the hunters. Chewbacca, who's been coming out very consistently this year. Won the Grand Prix qualifier at the Hampton Classic. Now again, he's going to have to think about time here because they're looking a little bit steady yet. Jimmy shakes things up down to this triple combination, but I would say based on the rounds we've seen so far, is saying wait, whoa, you need enough going in there, get up. He just started to lose the jump he needed coming into that triple. Like I say, those on the 4 are going to have to start thinking about shaking things up a bit, because very good down that line, gets back, gets deep at the vertical. He's going to drift over the time allowed as well. It's going to be 87.95, so a little more costly, takes him on to a score of 6 for Jimmy Serrano and Chewbacca HCC. So 3 on the 5 at the moment. Jimmy just behind that in 4th on the 6 vaults. Here just in the triple combination, but it just started to get tight to that middle part. Like I say, it's very tall through there, but Chewbacca has just looked better and better all the way. The 11-year-old for Jimmy Serrano. So we are 8 through, and so far we've got 5 falters, 3 of those. Keane O'Connor, Tiffany Foster, Cassio Rivetti, Mark Blumenau of Colombia with Ubeluk for the over-the-top stables of New York. Now this was a ride of Daniel Blumen for a little while. We saw him win with this at Angelstone back a season or so ago with Daniel in the saddle. Now Mark this season. Just jumped round for the 4 faults in the Tryon Grand Prix a few weeks ago. Had a nice win behind them at Ufferbill. Finished 2nd at the National Horse Show as well. That lined well. That hasn't caused too many problems so far, but again, talking to course designers, this type of loop back is always very hard. It's been the signature of a couple of the top names over the years. Just a little breeze at the plank. Get up. 1 to go. Time allowed of 86. It's going to run to the wire. Should be just enough. It's 84.66. Mark Blumen produces the first, the clears with Ubeluk, and so shows them away. That's a big one for them, and again is one of the biggest tracks that pair have tackled so far. You can see why he's elated about that. And Mark is giving us the first clear round of this $1 million Coachella Cup. Jumped confidently over the wall, pings easily over the Aston Martin vertical. Yeah, just rubbing right up against that middle part. And there did a terrific job getting out of there neatly, out of that boxed up double combination coming out of there. So this is one to have a big eye on, because as we talked to her a little bit earlier on, championship contender Lily Keenan. And Lily, well, again, it'll depend what happens on the rider that goes next, which is Carl Cook. But Lily has a good opportunity here and eyeing another win. She had a win in Oshawa this year on the grass, very different setting though. Finished top 3 in Vancouver. This the Chaznet Farm of New York's Argand de Belliard. A superb partner that has all the ability now. Again, that will have given a bit of confidence with Mark Blumen, showing it is achievable. Controlled after the wall to the Premier Equestrian Oxa. Gets the pace up to the triple, takes it back off again, come back to me, listens. No, get moving. Get around here and it comes up on you quite quickly, but for this level, it's perfectly achievable. This horse has the scope and ability to cope with that triple combination well. And he gets them nicely set up for the cactus vertical. Ah, just didn't get across there. Got high. Neatly out of the double there without any trouble, and I think he's just going to run a little over the time as well for Lily Keenan. And so that's going to be very interesting for the championship, because there are going to be timefalls to add to that as well. Finishing on the 4th for Lily Keenan, and Aganda Baleara just confirmed having time on top of that as well with the 13-year-old. So, door comes open a little more for Carl Cook, but we'll come on to that in just a moment. Lily Keenan on the 5 in the end, 86.81 was her final time. Different fence dropping this time with the life floats. And that is going to be a little bit of disappointment, as well, you say she comes out of the running. It's also going to depend a lot on what the others do tonight too. Carl with a big stretching lead in the championship as it is. Here he is, Carl Cook and Kalinka. Carl, winner of the Grand Prix here last year. It wasn't Amelia then. Oops, sit tight. Kalinka can be a little exuberant. Sydney Osby of Woodside, California's Belgian warm blood. He's on 28 points at the top of the table. Lily Keenan was on 19. He's won 2 Grand Prix this year, one with Caracol and one with Kalinka, both at Traverse City. Carl, big pressure on here. It's certainly been an up and down week. Badly injured his hand, not in the ring, but that has seen him strapped up, as you can see, just from that left hand this week. He's been managing it, coping with it. Had to have some stitches in there, and he has been really stoic about the whole thing. He is determined to get this done this week, and he's determined to take home this class tonight. This is a terrific combination, like I say, back in Traverse City. That's been the real happy hunting ground for him. Took the American Gold Cup there as well, was part of the gold medal winning team from the recent Pan Ams. Gets across. Training with the great Eric Navet as well of France, who's been here alongside this week. Looks as though he should be good for time. Don't get too excited down here on the way out. It's good. Time is going to run close, but should be just good enough for Carl Cook, and he is putting himself very much in the driving seat for the title of both the Major League and, of course, for this $1 million Coachella Cup presented by Brown Advisory tonight. It is going to be the second of the clears, and that is the man who's come through adversity this week to produce a top-class clear from Carl and his 13-year-old partner. They're back with confidence, looking to follow up on what they did here last year. It's stepped up a gear in terms of the prize money again as well. And Carl looking to add his name to the list. He was part of the team that won the team championship in 2022. Now can he win the individual? He's very much put himself in a strong spot. Lily Keenan on the sidelines now, drops down. Carl Cook, is that enough to win him the title? Got a good shot at it. Caitlin Campbell, Castlefield Cornelius. For the next riders, now based in California for the 3P Equine Partners. Mare by Cornet Obolensky, the 12-year-old for Caitlin Campbell. Caitlin again with a newer ride into her string, actually since July of this year. Was with Philip Ruping of Germany. Actually a horse that won the World Cup qualifier in Prague last year with Philip in the saddle. Finished top 10 at the Grand Prix in Tryon a few weeks ago with 2 timefalls, and say that was a little bit more of an exploration mission for them. She'll have a little bit more understanding, but this is by far their biggest test. Lands quietly there, makes enough room. And again, that looked as though it was going to get tight from there. It was just squeezing, moving in different spaces to make enough room down there. A little bit steadier on that run up to this triple combination. I think they might just struggle for time here, but even so, jumping very well. Little flick back, stays. Two clears on the board. Okay, pacey in here, lengthen the stride up. Now bring it all back. She has ridden a terrific round, Caitlin Campbell. Just a little bit unsettled to the last, unfortunately, and was going to have time, whatever she did there. But 87.56 would have been 2-time again, but it is going to be 6 on the scorecard for Caitlin Campbell and Castlefield Cornelius. But that has looked a really good pairing together. Like I say, they are still really in the building stages. And although disappointment is going to be there, she's going to have a good bit of delight on that how that horse has performed and what's going to look forward to in 2024. Deserving pats for Cornelius there. 2 clears, Carl Cook, Mark Blumen here tonight as part of this Brown Advisory Coachella Cup. An upping of the game once again for this Major League individual final, and from the Desert Horse Park as well. Great to return here after 12 months, seeing yet again more and more improvements of this terrific venue. Cara Chad and Kidamo F, the Canadian for the Stonebridge Farms of Wellington, Florida. Swiss Warbler, 13-year-old for Cara, performing well in the 2-star Grand Prix a little bit earlier on, but Cara has had bigger competitions in her sights, filling up here all around this arena, stacked out to watch. And Cara, World Championships in 2018 for the Canadians. And going with Kidamo F here, which is interesting because Igor's the horse that she's ridden some of the bigger competitions so far this year. Finished well in Mexico, won in Tryon. And some really good top 5s at Spruce Meadows over the summer. Again, it just encourages you from 2 to 3 to lengthen down on the 7. That's what you're aiming for, but again, it all depends on how you land after that ball. Runs out of space. So this is a big step with this pair. A little steady through the middle part there, and just not enough to get across the Oxer this time. Either way, there's no substitute for being able to get out there, get the experience in these big 5-star classes like this. She's been building on that over the summer up in Calgary. Time is going to come rolling into this as well. It's going to be 12 plus the time, 90.48. Total of 17 there for Cara Chad and Kidamo F on the 13-year-old. Early rail for them. It's a big test for the pair that they'll take some highlights out of. 2 clears at the moment, Carl Cook and Mark Blumen. Gregory Wathley, ace of hearts. Another of the major players comes in then for Belgium. On the mare by Alejandro B. Major championship rider, major 5-star Grand Prix winner, literally all around the world, including the likes of Shanghai, back to the centre of Europe, and many more besides. Won a number of big classes here last winter as well at the Desert Horse Park, making that his base throughout the winter months too. Nations Cup final winner, European medalist, team bronze, the Olympics in Tokyo. Of course, Aachen Grand Prix winner in 2017. Nothing much to faze him here. This is a day at the office for the Belgian rider. See how efficient he is around that turn to the triple. Again, Lance Ballas doesn't have to do an awful lot, left himself enough space without having to make too much adjustments. That is one that hasn't come up. In fact, it's one of the few times that's fallen. But again, it shows Alan is testing them all the way around. Again, he knows 4 faults is very much in the game here. He's not going to hold back. He wants to be inside the time. He's going to do that with ease, and this is showing a rider that has had experience around massive tracks like this. He's going to be home in 83.62 against that time of 86 seconds. So gets on the 4, so it puts him the only one on the 4 faults and into 3rd place so far for Gregory Wathelet and Ace of Hearts. Derek Erins and Licino holding at the 2 clears. Gregory Wathelet in 3rd on the 4 faults. Keenan O'Connor goes into 4th. So the 5 faulters then get separated by their time. And Cassia Rivetti 5th, Tiffany Foster in 6th, Lily Keenan in 7th. Distance between Keenan and Carl Cook is getting ever larger. That's key for the championship. Hurricanes, the 12-year-old Licino for Eve Jobs, originally based out in California, of course. She herself medalist from the Pan Am Games. Dara Kerins, European Championship World Cup finalist. It's just made a bit of a move before that. Oxa just unsteady coming there, puts them on the 4 again. Like Gregory Wathelet, needs to think about getting some pace in here, because he could still be in for a good payday. Finished top 5 in the Grand Prix in Traverse City. Again, just tries to reach for that line down there at the plank, has that down. Going to come home on 8 and maybe a squeak of time. 8 jumping, 85.18, so inside the time there. 8 for Derek Kerins and Licino to go top 10 as it stands at the moment. But we are, where are we down to? 15th position at the moment over the Aston Martin vertical there. It just makes a little move to the left there. Niall Nassar and Coronado. Not unused to winning $1 million classes. I think he's won about 3 through his career. Coronado for the Evergate team. Cassini, which was that way back in its young horse career, was ridden with Rodrigo Pessoa briefly. The Athens Olympic champion. And Niall has built a very good partnership horse with this horse that was then off into Europe for its youthful part of its career. Niall, Olympic rider in Tokyo, World Championship rider last year, winner of the Queen's Cup up in Canada at Spruce Meadows this season for $1 million Canadian on that occasion. Nice pace down there. Niall is not hanging around. Spent part of his life based out here in California. Sits nicely to the boxer. Fairly economical round there again, just keeping the control, doesn't want to get too stretched out. Use the power through the line that cost for Gregory Wathley. Now doesn't want to drift too far here, comes back fairly efficiently. Another one caught by it. There is very little room for error down there, as there is all around this course. Nice run to the last, finishing on just the 4:84.90 there for Nal Nassar and Coronado, 14 years of age now on the four faults there, puts him into fourth place for Niall. Gregory Wathley a little bit quicker, about a second quicker in fact, 83.62, leaves him in third. Carl Cook and Mark Blumen, the two clears at this stage of the $1 million Coachella Cup here tonight. Puts him in the money, but can be a little bit disappointed not to be in the final shake-up. Erin Ballard now, Gakia. Now she's another one very much in championship contention as well, sitting top three, equals third in the championship with Kent Farrington at the moment. Been really solid through the season, finished second in Monterey just a week or so ago with Libido. Now back with her World Championship rider Gakia. Top three in the Grand Prix in Tryon, top five in Vancouver as well. She's one that again could shift, maybe podium at the end of this week. We will see. Carl Cook has certainly put himself in a good position by being into that jump off. Kia again is a well-proven championship horse, but again Erin will be well aware of not losing any ground against that time allowed here. There's not a lot of room. Again, get nicely here for the first couple. Nice smooth run from the wall to the Aston Martin vertical. Now for that Premier Oxer. Get straight. Just edging in on that left side. Don't waste any ground. Such a terrific natural rider. Again, soon as she lands, goes again. Gets back here with a little bit more pace, knowing they need a little bit more length down this line. Here's key, I was about to say. Looking better and better for Carl Cook for the championship all the time, as Erin Ballard will drop down further. Just on the 4:81.19 for Erin. She was very good for time there with Gakia. Really efficiently done from Erin around the course. but will leave her in third place as it stands at the moment as she drops the back bar of that double coming into the closing stages. And so Erin Ballard into third place as it stands at the moment. Two clears there with Carl Cook and Mark Blumen as we hit the halfway stage of this Brown Advisory supported $1 million Coachella Cup, final two of the Major League individual title, and things looking good for Carl Cook so far in terms of that. Can he get it done and get the double here? We will see. So halfway through, and we're going to head down to the arena floor to get the atmosphere and all the views of what's happening, and head down to Hannah, who's down over close to the warm-up.
Well, Cian, hard lines, just the one pole down and one for time. Talk us through the round.
Yeah, I was very happy with Morris. It's our first big Grand Prix together, also under the lights, our first time. So Alan Wade has set a really good course. As you know, there's only a couple of clears so far. The time is tight, which is good because it pushes us to the level where we want to be. And yeah, there's no let up anywhere. It's a decent 160 course all the way.
Is there anywhere you think you could have taken a slightly tighter line to make the time?
Yeah, probably from 1 to 2 even a little bit, but I wasn't sure because the wall is a little bit spooky, and around to the combination was where I had the fault. I went to wait and the horse just got a little bit stiff on me there. But things to work on. Very, very happy and delighted to be here. It's a wonderful facility. The horse show have done an amazing job, so we're very happy.
So talk to us a little bit about the horse, because as you say, just the first competition of this type that you've done with him, but what a prospect for the future.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have him. I own him together with Pat Crean in Ireland, and we did a Nations Cup in Spain last month where we were double clear. So looking forward to getting to Wellington, give him a little break over Christmas, and then hopefully we'll have a good year next year.
Thanks so much. Best of luck for the rest of the competition. Congratulations, just one down.
Thank you.
Well, there we have it there. It's been an incredible competition so far, but let's take a look at what's been happening up until this point.
It was a great night. The Roadrunners thought performed brilliant. My teammates were great. My horse, First Lady, was phenomenal, as she's been all season. It was a good finish for us. You know, I was a little motivated. You know, Lily's been a student of mine for a number of years, and I think her career is going to far surpass mine. But I still got to let her know the pecking order for a little while longer. I was just very proud the way Lady performed. I really called a lot out of her in that jump off, and she answered with energy to give, and I'm very proud of the horse. What motivates is you love to win. I think this is a great team. I think there's great people behind it. Also, what's been done here in the Desert Horse Park for the sport in the United States, something I think we should be very proud of and support, and it's always an honor to win here. Focus on tomorrow. I have my longtime partner, Contagious. I think we have a good chance. A lot of prize money on the line tomorrow, so we need to be sharp. So I think the celebrations will be subdued, and we're going to try to have the same result tomorrow night.
Welcome to the Desert International Horse Park, the stage for leg 9 of Major League show jumping and the richest Grand Prix in the US. There's something for everybody here at this stunning venue, whether they're spectators, competitors, grooms, or just horse sport fans. Let's take a look around. Coffee Velo is one of the most popular spots on the showground for all your coffee needs, with a bit of entertainment thrown in.
And you're gorgeous, Steel Grey. Have a beautiful day. This is fine, there's not a camera in my face.
You can also take a little bit of Desert International Horse Park home with you. They've got jackets, coats, t-shirts, something for everyone. And it's clear who they're supporting this week. for joining us on this quick stroll around the horse park. We're in the middle of 2 weeks of Major League show jumping action. Be sure to stop by and check it out.
Cassio, it looked like a fantastic round, just that unlucky plank. Talk to me about it.
He jumped amazing. So happy to him. It was a tough, really tough course. You know, my horse 4 months ago was jumping 130, so it's like it's his first. Okay, he did 2 World Cups, but like he's going so fast in this level, and I am super happy to him. Probably that I was a little too long, and then he didn't get the best shape on the jump. But overall, I was really like surprised the way that he jumped.
Tiffany's so unlucky. So just to have one down near the end there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he really deserved a clear round tonight. He jumped his heart out. He jumped so high over the plank, I almost lost my balance a little bit, and I got a little stuffed into that turn on the way to that line. And then even with his big stride, the 5 got pretty long, and I was like in the air, like, uh-oh, what's going to happen here? So that one stride got really short for him, but I thought he jumped amazing. I'm really proud of him. I thought he jumped great.
I just want to ask about the time as well, because we've only seen one inside. You know, talk to me about that.
It's very short. It's super, super short. I mean, you know, my horse isn't an overly fast moving horse, but I was going about as fast as I could go over this height of jumps for sure. You maybe have one place that you can pull, so you got to pick your spot.
Mark, huge congratulations. We can see what that round means to you.
Well, it means a lot, you know. It's the biggest Grand Prix of the year for me. I've had my horse for 6 months, and you know, it's a big story about it, and it's pretty emotional, so it's very good. I'm very happy with my result. Hopefully it goes well in the jump off.
And also, what a sport this is, and what a change in 24 hours for you.
Yeah, you know, I had a pretty rough go last night. I let down my team, and I was pretty sad about that, and I woke up today not feeling the greatest. But, you know, I got in the mood, and I believe my horse could do it, and it worked out today very well. I'm very happy.
We fly horses anywhere around the world. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely in best of health. We do not leave any stone unturned. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing, amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Well, as we've just heard there from some of the riders, this is the biggest Grand Prix of the year for them. They have been working up to this moment for months, even for some of them potentially years. And what a competition we've had already. We're here at the halfway point, and we only have 2 clear rounds. Mark Blumen, as we just heard from there, very emotional rider. So pleased to have such a good performance here with this relatively new horse. And then the man who is on everybody's lips this evening, Carl Cook. He's the leader of the individual season standings, and he's secured his place in the jump off already. He just has 1 rival so far. We have plenty of riders still to come who could join them there. Some shocks in the results as well. Lily Keenan picked up 5. Tiffany Foster 5 there as well. Just unlucky pole for her. Erin Ballard, she dropped 1 pole, and Niall had 1 down as well. Niall Nassar of Egypt. Those all extremely strong competitors, but let's take a look at what we have to come. Plenty of big names to come in the second half.
Certainly do, and this is what it looks like. We'll resume with Ireland and Richie Maloney. Mario Delorier of Canada with his Olympic ride, Bardolina 2. Adrian Sterlich and Fequitol S. Paul O'Shea, Emerald, another of the previous winners of the individual championship. Going to be a few eyes on that as well, of course, with the likes of Dara Kenny, who is in contention there. And as we get into our final part, we've got several that could make an impact on that lineup as well. Hilary Scott of Australia, great to have her joining us this time with Oaks Milky Way, based over in Europe, and taking the run here to out to California for the big weeks of competition that are upcoming. Then down to our final few. Ken Farrington that I mentioned with Landon, last year's individual championship winner, has a good chance here again. We'll see, but it will also depend a lot on what Carl Cook does. Daniel Blumen and the huge jumping Ladriano said Ashley Bond Donatello is hard to count out, and of course McLean Ward, we heard from him a little bit earlier on, winning last night for the team, for the Roadrunners. Could be a nice double up for the man who's won, I think, around $4 million classes already in his career, and back with Contagious on the back of a team gold at the Pan Am Games. Katie Laurie is certainly one to not look too far past as well. The Australian last to go with Django II. She has experience right the way through to top championship level, world championships, and is one who could certainly keep them on their toes down at the very, very end as well. So there's a lot more of this story to play out yet. And like we said, 2 clears with Marky Blumen, with Uberluck and Carl Cook Kalinka. Has Carl done enough to win the championship? There's still a little bit more to come on this, and a lot will depend how many clears we get into this second round as well. And so we'll see whether that number is going to double up, triple up, quadruple up, and so based on what we've seen so far, that might be a tough task for quite a few out there. Poles dropping very, very tidily, and that is the mark of the delicacy and the wonderful touch of an Alan Wade course as well. There, the Aston Martin. Great to have them on board this time around as well as part of Major League 2, and with the wonderful lineup of cars they've got with us this week. They are, of course, very special indeed for huge fans around the world, whether it's the Aston Martin DB12 or, of course, getting into their other brands up to the SUV that you see in there as well. Richard Maloney, Cocoa Beach, and he is going to bring us into this second half. Richard Maloney, past winner of the American Gold Cup, Nations Cup rider for Ireland as well. He's taken in everything that they've seen so far. It's for the Equanimity LLC of Wellington. Richie, who's been long time based here in the United States too. A little look at the wall as he sets up. And now heads on into the second half. What's going to come? Buckle up, and we will see for the second half of round one of this $1 million Coachella Cup, brought to you by Brown Advisory. Good turn up to the wall. Again, don't want to drift too far. He takes the stride back a little there to get to the Premier Equestrian Oxer. Okay. Oh, a little bit unsettled down to the Aston Martin vertical, and it goes down. He was just fighting to get back there. Triple bar. Again, sees them coasting into fence 6. Richie, a little bit of breathing space here before the triple combination. Snaps another couple of poles away, unfortunately. I think he might see what he's going to do. He's gone a long route here. They're just not quite gelling tonight, and I think he's going to pull up before he goes down that line, because it's going to be a long way down the 5 there. It says, okay, tonight's not the night. Another night may well be. Richard Maloney retires there with Cocoa Beach. Look at the 2 clears. Erin Ballard in third on the 4 falters. Let's go through them because there are 3 on 4 faults at the moment. Erin Ballard, Gregory Wathley and Niall Nassar. Could well come away with a good payday yet, but as I say, they'll be waiting to see what everybody else does. Mario Delorier and Bardolina too. Super combination that went through to the Tokyo Olympics for the Wishing Well Farm of New York. Mario, wonderful career behind him. Olympic Games again. Team silver medal at the Pan Ams just a few weeks ago down in Santiago in Chile. Former winning combination of the Hampton Classic Grand Prix. Nations Cup in Spruce Meadows this year. With a long, illustrious career that's included winning the World Cup finals, put this together. Touch, come down on the 7 and again. It's keeping the energy right for those 2 fences. Mario moves well away, gets some good pace away to make up some ground up to that triple. Comes down there with confidence, and again he keeps moving swiftly up to this triple combination. Take the pace back a little, a couple of strides out. Ooh, touch in the centre. Again, land and go. Them off the plank. Ooh, a little steady in there. Is it going to be what they're trying for? Oh, it's going to get tight, but it works. Mario produces a bit of magic down that line there, and it is a very good round from Mario Delorier and Bardolina too. Plotted that superbly from the Canadian, and gives us the 3rd clear round. Swiftly back into our next group there, and on the 3 clears now with Mario Delorier joining Carl Cook and Mark Blumen. Definitely a man with a plan. Callie Schott, US rider with Garant, winning Grand Prix combination last year in Traverse City in the August running of the 5-star show there as part of Major League. Southern Archers of St. Louis's Garant by warrant. Trains with John and Beezy Madden, part of the Crusaders team. Has built up a very good partnership with this horse that's taken her up to a new level, competing in the 5 stars. Immediately look up and set up like Cian O'Connor said, maybe lost a little bit from the first 2 fences. She is, whoa, quite quickly down there, chases down to the Premier Oxa. Tiffany Foster said that time allows definitely give them a lot to think about. It's just an added layer on top. Tiny tap there. The Golden Horses Oxa now triple combination. Enough on the way out, it is. Keeps motoring. Callie Schott putting a very good round together. Don't drift too far here. She comes down and she fires up to get the distance to this plank. Does it very nicely. Now this should suit them as well. She is having some ride here. Terrific job between the 2 of them. That is a wonderful round from Callie Schott and Garant. One of the biggest of their careers so far. Yes, they put a 5-star Grand Prix win behind them, But this is another step up in level in what's being offered today, and it's massive money as well, with $1 million on the line. Callie's shot, terrific shot for her, so gives us clear round number 4. Now, is this take us into a boding that we may well get a whole handful of clears coming out? Chases down there well. The two of them just trust each other through that double, no trouble at all. Pings through. And similar trust between these two. Alessandra Volpe, Alex with Belinda. Woodside, California. It's by Berlin. She's built up such a really lovely partnership with over the last 3 years plus. Former rider of Hans-Dieter Dreyer of Germany. Alex this year, another step up for the 23-year-old. Last year competed in the World Cup finals. This year, top 5 in the Grand Prix, at the King's Cup at Hickstead, and similarly in the 5-Star Nations Cup Grand Prix in Falsterbo in Sweden. New training partner with Marcus Bierbaum. It's their first show together as trainer and pupil. Just unfortunately got away from them there down to the rustic pole. So we've seen so far how short that can get in that line. A bit wider on that turn. Again, they know from the scarcity of clears so far that 4 faults can still have a big payday. Shakes things up. Oh, just drags off that vertical on the way. Going to be a couple down. Going to be inside the time at 83.92. Seeing more making the time now, but it is 2 down for Alex Volpe this time with Belinda. So it's been a really good summer for them as well over in Europe. Lengthens out and leaves a pole on the ground from the double. And it's set on now to Adrian Sterling of Greenwich, Connecticut. Starlight Farms Facuitoles. Adrian, who's won a list of classes through her career. In fact, here at Thermal, won a World Cup qualifier. Facuitol by Verdi. Verdi was the horse ridden by Michael van der Vleuten to Olympic, world and European medals. She herself, a World Championship gold medalist from 2018 as part of the US team there with Crystalline. Finished well in the Hamptons this year. Again, has been a team rider as part of Major League Jumping on the Roadrunners team, which is the home team of the Desert Horse Park. To shape the line at the first. She landed a bit further on from that wall, so again she was just to take it a pretty normal striding down to the Oxford at the next. Horse that covers the ground well as well, so not looking like they're chasing too much. Just got to get it in a nice rhythm. That just starts to get a little bit tight for them. Enough power to get out. Just on a couple of those turns, it's going to be interesting to see the time. And they're just going to get a little bit too close to it. They are really covering ground. This should be good. It should be. This is a little bit deceptive in the pace they used to cover. 84.19 Adrian Sterlings and Facuitoles, and so adds to the list of clears. This second half is certainly starting to ooze out a few more clears out of the list, and so gives us the 5th clear round with Adrian Sterlings. So this has been a happy hunting ground for her before now as well. Delighted Adrian after that. So they don't look as they have to do too much running to be making the times. They do a terrific job. Hilary Scott of Australia, Oaks Milky Way for mum Alice Cameron. Hilary with bases out in the Netherlands as well for this Australian warm blood, having established between her and her mother the Oaks stud as well. Base out in the Netherlands, in fact part of the team for the Australians a few weeks ago, qualifying in Holland to go on to Paris 2024. Bases in New South Wales and in the Netherlands for the World Championship rider last year. She went to the Oaks Pony Club, going right back in her career. The Oaks name carried on through. A very successful sport horse business for she and Alice. Oaks Milky Way by Clearway. And a good addition, more flags coming in. Got a couple here for Australia, in fact. This is them back up for the Aston Martin vertical. Just gets starts to invert over that Oxer, and so has the front bar down. Second rail joins the list. 5 clears at the moment. Erin Ballard in 6th, Gregory Wathley 7th, Niall Nassar in 8th. Several coming up that are championship contenders too. Roberto Terran, Dara Kenny, Kent Farrington, Ashley Bond, Connor Swale, Mimi Gotchman. That's the list. Looking to put Carl Cook under pressure, but the man looks as though he's coping with the pressure so far. And Hilary Scott and Oaks Milky Way, I think, deciding it's not going to quite work out tonight by that point. And so retiring there for Hilary. So they've had some terrific rounds on this 16-year-old. Started to get too many rails on the ground in the end. Paul O'Shea. Paul, a winner of the individual title for Major League Jumping 2 years ago. Things have built a lot since then as well. And for the Irishman, this is the Emerald partners, Emerald van ter Voorhof. The terrific Emerald, which was one of the best horses in the world under Harry Smolders. World Championship rider Paul O'Shea. Captain of the Eye Candy squad as well, as he has been consistently. Taking us well through the order. Around 12 left to go in the first round of this Coachella Cup tonight. To link all this line up nicely, and it doesn't. They just lean on to the Aston Martin vertical. 4 falters seeing 8th place and above. Keeping it at the 4. Should just about make the time allowed if he keeps hustling to the last, all right, and he will. Going to finish on 4:84.61 for Paul O'Shea into 8th place with Emerald van Voorhoff this time. So leaves him in the money, but unfortunately Aston Martin fence is going to cost him. Not driving away with a win tonight, I'm afraid, for Paul this time around. To say, former championship winner, was the inaugural championship winner of Major League individual titles. That year his team also won the team title with Eye Candy as well. Vanessa Mannix of Calgary, Alberta with Lahar. Another horse by Verdi for this mare for Vanessa. And this has proved to be a really quick building partnership this year and really effective indeed. Finished second in the World Cup qualifier in Las Vegas just a few weeks ago. Been together since June of this year. Horse that came from Denmark for Vanessa. Who trains with Connor Swale. Making her up on the West Coast Canadian circuit as well. Has been coming close in those World Cup qualifiers. In fact, finished just behind Connor Swale in the recent World Cup in Las Vegas. Don't want too many of those. Vanessa doesn't hang around. Again, those long runs there, just Alan Wade luring you in. Control that. Ooh, just got a little away there. Get the balance back. And it cost them. Just not quite enough. So on the 4. We could hear her saying whoa as she heads down that line. This is again the biggest track this pair would have jumped by far. Going to be on 8:82.54. Can take some good heart away from that round as well, though. Gives the horse a good pat with Lahar. And that is, although disappointing to finish on 2 down, is going to be a lot to build on into next year, and she should be really pleased in the way that's shaped up so far in 2023. I know we're at the closing stages of the year. Roberto Terran, another one of those with a slim chance of the championship. Of course, double points for the championship this time around as well, so 24 points for a win and so on down the line. So that can make a big difference too. Carl Cook on 28, say 24 for a win. Lily Keenan on 19. Kent Farrington 18 and so on down the line. Carl, though, so far looking the strongest position with Lily Keenan dropping a little bit further down all the time. Really out of the running of the chances for her as she's now dropped below 12th place. Roberto Terran. A lot of eyes are going to be on Kent Farrington, because win for him would give a chance of getting ahead of Carl Cook. Roberto Tarrant, BP Wakita for the Trefoil Farm of Connecticut. Again, another one that's just returned from those Pan American Games. Another good performance. Which has been a pretty strong year for him overall. Based here in the United States as well. Let's roll back. Ooh, he has to ask for the pace there they reach now. Is he going to get away with it? Yes, he does. Little bit of work, little bit of ingenuity, little bit of luck. And it's still holding. Time should be okay. It's going to be close to it, but should be okay. It's going to be 84.03. Roberto Tarrant, BP Wakita have a little bit of a heart stopper moment in there, but does give us the 6th of the clears on the Irish horse by Pacino. Whew. Take a breath. Adds to the clear round list. Ooh, look how close that got on the wall as well early on. Just gave that a little nudge. Take the luck when it happens. Derek Kenny, the Irishman, 15th in the championship. I say, still a chance to move up. Amsterdam, 27. Lovely to see this horse. The 13-year-old by Toki, the Vlok Show Stables, was actually ridden by owner Teddy Vlok at the last Olympics in Tokyo. And Teddy, who rode the horse so superbly in the Nations Cup Grand Prix in Wellington, Florida. Teddy now busy with lots of projects and therefore handing the ride over to Dara. Amsterdam, who was with Mario Delorier for the early part of its real international development part of its career. Dara, the world number 16. We're getting into several of those riders up in the world rankings. Ken Farrington, of course, world number 3. McLean Ward, world number 6. Ooh. Pair back together, haven't done too many of these big 5 stars as a partnership in recent times. Been sparingly competed so far this season. See them out though. It was a horse that was on the sidelines for a little while. And now looking great once again. Move up on the 5, all right. Copes with that test. Yeah, just going to be. He's going to be inside the time, 85.30. Just one down for Derek Kenny in Amsterdam. Into 11th place this time. Numbers shorten up. Just around 8 left to go in the first round, and it's a strong 8 indeed. 6 clears at the moment. Kathleen Driscoll and Aron for the Plain Bay Farm. Henri and Katie Prudhomme. Katie, of course, was one of the most prolific winners for the US over the years. Now a highly regarded trainer, as she's been for a while, alongside husband Henri, who was also a successful rider. Kathleen has been a part of their barn for a good while now with the French-bred Aron. Class after class in Traverse City up in Michigan this summer. It's been a great testing ground for her. Then everybody arrived in town as well for 2 big 5 stars, and she certainly held her own in the American Gold Cup this year too. Finished 6th in the Grand Prix qualifier earlier on this week. She is a rider who's certainly been working her way, grafting her way to the top. Oh, no. Stutters coming into the Aston Martin fence. Both not able to recover. Whether they're going to carry on from there or what the plan is, we'll see. This just brings out she'll feel how confident the pair are about this. It looks like they're going to do a little rebuild, which of course will put 4 on the scorecard. That's better. Back to get off that vertical. Just starting to motor towards that quite quickly now. Hopefully the rest of this will come out as a good round. Flattens off in the middle part. Again, will be one of the bigger tracks this pair have jumped, although they've jumped some terrific rounds this year, up to 5-star level. It's down that line, okay. Just an unfortunate blip for them that happens in the round. It's going to put some time on the scorecard as well. Total of 20 with a chunk of that there for time, 8 for jumping for Catherine Driscoll and Rome this time. Starts to carry on through that triple combination, takes the, let's say, 2 tall verticals on the way in, both just short of 160. Ken Farrington, world number 3 with Landon, and importantly too, similar position in the championship for the Major League individual title. Carl Cook, he knows, is through. If he wants to have a shot at winning it back-to-back, he won the title last year. Needs to clear out of this one too. Landon, what a terrific performing pair so far this season. He was winner at Angelstone with Tulena, different horse on that occasion. But he needs to squeeze a win out of this. And Carl to get 3rd or lower to get into that top spot. But the key is it needs to be number 1, but it could well be for the world number 3. Just back also from the Pan Am Games, where he won that individual silver medal. Top 3 in the Grand Prix qualifier as well. Ken never needing any instruction on how to ride at speed, at a good pace for a big Grand Prix. He's got all of that in the experience locker. Carl Cook will be watching this with interest. Chases them up down the double, just does everything to get over the vertical. Terrific pair, and he has got his eyes on 2 big titles here tonight on the $1 million Coachella Cup. and that individual title back-to-back, maybe for Major League Jumping, but Carl Cook stands in his way. Carl's up in that top 3. That should still put it in Carl's direction. Pressure's on. Ashley Bonds absorbs the pressure. She's another one that, with a win, would stand a chance at the title. Ashley, these days based over in Florida, but also with original base in Hidden Hills, California. Donatello 141, again, a pair, if you watch these two, will not be short of pace when it comes to making the time allowed. Individually 11th at the last Olympic Games for this pair. Currently in the top few for the championship as well, like I say, but again would need a win out of the pack. Currently in equal 5th place. It's not going to matter. Now we'll look to shake Donnie up to keep at their usual swift pace to get themselves in the money. 4 falters. Well, 8th place at the moment is the best placed of them, with Erin Bellard and Gakir on 81.19. She's making up time all the time. Not going to be faster than Erin Ballard, I don't think, looking at that. It's going to leave her a little bit further down. And 83.04 puts her into 9th place, so just behind that of Erin Ballard. Moves Gregory Wathley down a slot into 10th, Paul O'Shea and Nal Nassar into 12th place. Ashley Bond, they're good points, but not the points she needs to get to the top of the championship, especially with Carl Cook and with Kent Farrington in the clear rounds park at the moment. Daniel Blumen, Ladriano Z. Big L, super horse that has won several big 5-star Grand Prix. This is their big aim for the week. Again, the over-the-top stables of New York's. Horse by Luito. Daniel bases up on the north, up in New York, and down in Wellington, Florida as well. Grand Prix winners and some of the biggest in the world, from Wellington, Florida through to Rome. Hampton Classic. He's been winning a lot with Gemma W this year too. So Gemma he and Gemma W teaming up to win the World Cup qualifier in Toronto. Adriano, who copes with the big fences pretty easy enough, has huge scope. Daniel over the years has moved up the pace of this horse as well. Oof. Little deep breath. Just steps through there. A little closer to the last part. Seven clears at the moment. Covers the ground easily down to the plank. Shouldn't do this without any trouble at all either. Oh. Going to leave them on 4 at 84.72. little touch there, just bounced in the cup. Yeah, jumped in well and just started to stretch out on the way out as they've lengthened down that line, and sees one on the floor for Daniel Blumen and Ladriano. Puts him into 12th place at the moment, so just in the money stakes. Conor Swale, world number 20. Been right up there to world number 5 in the last 12 months as well for the Irishman. Winner of the Grand Prix qualifier earlier on this week. Strong group coming up because they go in reverse order of the Grand Prix qualifiers. There are 2 classes, Daniel Blumen, Conor Swale, Mimi Gotchman, McLean Ward and Katie Laurie to come out of this yet. So we could go beyond our 7 clears, even up to double figures, who knows. Conor Swale, count me in, Crosby. Lovely to see this horse performing at the top level again. Multiple World Cup winner for the Man and Farm. He's now 16 years of age by Count Granus for Conor. Thirteenth in the championship, so still an outside chance. Swale has been having a very good week here, and it's a place he's very much familiar with. Spends a good bit of time here in the winter. Ooh, big move across. Doesn't want any more of those. Whee. They can be an exuberant pair, but it's also taken them to a lot of big wins too. Whoa, that's going to get very tight. This is going to be a long way out. He's not going to do it. Just not settled down that triple line, unfortunately. Again, Conor is aware that Four Faults is in the money still. For now. Whoa, that's going to get tight too, but they cope. On 4, going to see them at 83.95, a little bit further down, just in the dollar digits at the moment, into 11th place. And, well, they tried hard through that triple, but it wasn't working. Swale just in the money. Mimi Gotchman, McLean Ward, Katie Laurie left on the list. Mimi Gotchman, the youngest in the field. Finished 5th in the Grand Prix qualifier, 4th in the speed qualifier as well. Outside chance in the championship. Past junior and young rider gold medalist this year, moved much more into the 5 stars, training with Dara Kenny now. Cosmos BH for the Gotchman Sport Horses of Wellington, Florida. This has been her breakout year into the big 5-star Grand Prix. One of the biggest tracks she's jumped so far. Give herself a nice curving spaced line to the Oxer. Ooh. Wah. Catches up with him. Key now stay at 4. Means the maximum number of clears we can have are going to be 9. It's going to be a little bit wider. Might just creep into a time fault, actually. Just inside it, 85.56, just on the 4 for Mimi Gotchman and Cosmos BH, but also to commend her on what's been a big step-up year for her and handled much of it very, very well. She's done a superb job, and big things in the future for this young teen US rider. Just finishing on the 4 faults this time. McLean Ward and Contagious. The T part of this is the horse. Contagious for the Beechwood Stables of Western Massachusetts, and he was on class form last night in the team competition as well. Flew round there on First Lady, beat off pupil Lily Keenan, showed the way there, and as ever is a class act in these big classes. Like I say, has won a number of the $1 million classes. I think probably 4 of the $1 million classes here in the United States before now. One here this year. This is the biggest prize money, as Hannah said, on US soil in 2023. Just back after that team gold with this horse down at Santiago in the Pan Am Games, and an individual bronze. World rank number 6. Always so interesting to see Walker course. There's nothing casual about it. It's all very well thought through, analysed again and again and again. Always have a plan. Just got unsteady coming through there. So the rider from Brewster, New York is out of the reckoning. Certainly for the jump off, which is probably good news for Ken Farrington. Oh, and that is unfortunate for them. That is a little out of character. And McLean, his horse has done plenty. He says, okay, it's not working today. Doesn't want to put them off their game, and so tucks them away. Probably until 2024 now. So 7 clears. Ken Farrington prime position at this point as the last in the jump off. Roberto Terran, Adrian Sterling, Callie Schott, Mario Delorier. Carl Cook has to go early. Bit of a disadvantage for him. Mark Blumen will go first. Still leaves us 1 left to come in this Brown Advisory supported $1 million Coachella Cup tonight here at the Desert Horse Park. Katie Laurie of Australia, Django II. This New Zealand warm blood by Lodano, based these days in Octox, Alberta. Katie Laurie, last out. Terrific heritage in the sport. Of course, actually was bred with her family. Father Jeff McVean was one of the top class riders in his day as well, and Mum's superb too. It'll be a wonderful team, and Katie carries the flag. Finished second in the speed qualifier yesterday. Top 5 of the recent World Cup qualifier in Vegas. 2 wins in Las Vegas actually as well. This is the horse that she rode at the World Championships last year. In fact, is related through Flower Power to another World Championship ride of hers in Delphi. Whoa. Hear it. Oof. Made a move off to the right, made enough space in the end. a fascinating class. Leave it up. Alan Wade once again draws out a masterpiece, but also comment should be made of his terrific team around him too. Joey Roycroft, Peter Grant, and there are plenty of other names on that list here this week. Unfortunately, it's going to be 4 for Katie, so Kent Farrington is in prime position. It's just starting to unravel now for the Australian in the closing stages. Last fence drops as well, 16 at 85.84 for Katie Laurie and Django the second. And so closes out round 1 of this $1 million Coachella Cup, with 7 coming back for round 2. We'll take you through those in just a moment. And it is a terrific night here in the desert. The arena team making their way out. What superb workers they've been there as well. So let's take a look at what it looks like and the effect it could have on the championship as well for Major League 2. So as the final sun shone down a little earlier on today on a wonderful Aston Martin, we will see some more speed into our final part. Ken Farrington in the driving seat with Landon. He gets pole position as the last to go in that jump off. Carl Cook goes early on. Now between those two, it depends if they finish on the podium, how it will play out. Carl Cook or Kent Farrington getting the win has one or two connotations, but it also, they depend on each other a little bit to how that will play out. Mark Blumen will lead off with Ubiluk, and that's terrific to see that combination together. He was getting emotional about that a little bit earlier on. Carl Cook, Kalinka looking to follow up on what they did last year. Mario Delaurier plots his way through well with Bardolina too. Will he have the pace though against Kent Farrington and Carl Cook? Callie Shot, superb round with Garant, and follows up well on last year's 5-star Grand Prix. This would be another step up again. Adrian Sterling, Vaquidoles, has another good round out of them, and they're into the jump off, and is Roberto Turan following on a good year. Those later down to 12th place for the monies. Connor Swale can't be in. Paul O'Shea, Emerald van Voorhoff, Daniel Blumen just moving out then with Ladriano, Nal Nasser and Coronado, 14th and 15th for Derek Kenny. And that's what it looks like from round 1 here from the Coachella Cup. Some hard luck stories from round 1 and some excitement too. All coming up as we prepare for the jump off.
Our future depends on courage, determination, and a shared dream. Hard work creates bonds. We each play our part, and we find strength in the knowledge that our contribution promises a better life for all. Grounded in principle, driven by passion, and dedicated to our proposition, we invest in the present to raise the future. Brown Advisory, supporting the global equine community.
Screaming, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet, now. Retinas racing out of their sockets, scouting for the millimetre of tarmac between euphoria and the grass. 120 decibels booming in your bone marrow. Take a deep breath in.
I mean, I love the desert because I've been coming here since, you know, nearly 20 years, and it's close to home. This week I'll be riding Kalinka in the Grand Prix. She's had a little bit of time off after Barcelona, so it just made sense to come out with fresher legs. The fans here are really, you know, great. They come, they cheer, you know, they understand the mechanics of the sport, so they cheer at the right times.
So this week, obviously, there's a lot of prize money on the line, and as riders that jump Grand Prix, it is extremely rare to be able to jump for $1 million, something that happens really once a year if you're lucky to even have a horse that's able to jump in that class. I've brought Argan de Belliard, which is my white horse that I won the Grand Prix in Ottawa with. He, we call him the white unicorn because he knows exactly what he's doing and he is pretty magical.
I think this year, this is the most exciting tour stop with $1 million Grand Prix and some of the best riders in the world. I brought a competitive horse and looking for a great day on Saturday.
Here for the Desert International Horse Park, we bring you the final stages of those going for the big final rundown of this Coachella $1 million Grand Prix and the title of Major League Jumping 2023. Mark Blumen will lead off with Uberluck, Carl Cook, Kent Farrington. That's the duel we're looking at for the title as well. Mario Delorier, Bardolina 2, Callie Schott and Garrett, Adrian Sternlicht, Roberto Terran and Kent Farrington. All with big championship experience and Grand Prix experience. Let's take a look at the course, and Hannah's been out to have a look at what.
Well, what an amazing lineup we have in this jump off that we've just heard about there. I'm just going to tell you the relevance of some of these rides because they are just sensational. Relatively new ride for Mark Blumen. This could be the biggest win of his partnership with that horse. Carl Cook, of course, won here last year. Can he make it 2 years in a row? Mario Delorier and Bardolina, icon of the sport. That would be a big win for this combination as well. Callie Schott, she's won a 5-star Grand Prix in the past with Garant, and the horse is a former winner of the American Gold Cup. So again, big names still to come. Adrian Sternlicht then with Fakitol S. Brilliant horse that has been a great partner for her recently. BP Wakita with Roberto Terran again, super strong, super consistent, and Kent Farrington and Landon will round out the starting order, and they form part of a two-way battle for the championship title in the Major League Show Jumping standards. It will go down to the wire now between Carl Cook and Kent Farrington. If Kent Farrington wins here tonight, Carl Cook needs to be second to win the overall season title. If he is third, they'll both tie for the championship title. However, if Carl wins and Kent is second, Carl will win overall. That is how tight it is. It is just going to come absolutely down to the wire with these absolute icons, these fantastic names in the sport coming forward. But let's have a little look at the course they'll be tackling in tonight's jump off. So we set out again over the first 3 fences from round 1. That's the Cabana Coast Oxa, then the left turn to the wall, the show jumping wall. Plenty of riders saying that it's quite a spooky fence, especially under the lights here. The Premier Equestrian Oxa is fence 3 once again before they take a right-handed rollback around the tree to the Bear Trees 1.60 m Liverpool fence. Then it's on to fence 7, the Gold Horses Oxa, run across the middle of the arena there. Then we'll make this left-handed turn all the way over to a new fence, fence 15. That's the Desert International Horse Park upright. Again, big fence at 1.60 m there. It's a right-handed turn then all the way up the arena, back to 13A and B, all the way up past the VIP area there. Tricky double towards the end of the course. Then they'll gallop to the final fence from round 1, fence 14, the Brown Advisory Oxa. That will form the final fence for the jump off as well. They'll be galloping around this course. They have to be careful, but it's all about speed now. Well, what a season we have had already. Some brilliant performances, and many of those riders have been in the field here tonight. Let's take a look at the road to the finals.
Looks like we're all set to run into then the jump off of this $1 million Coachella Cup. The final stage is 2, of course, of the Major League final. Still in contention, as we heard there, Carl Cook, Kent Farrington. Erin Ballard's team, well, in terms of her scores, is done and dusted at 20 points. Roberto Duran, outside chance. Adrian Sterling, outside chance as well. But a lot of the eyes are going to be on Carl and Kent for that duel, which is going to go almost at either end of this jump off as well, which is really interesting. Mark Blumen and Uber looks so excited to see this horse through for the over-the-top stables. Horse that was ridden by family member Daniel before this as well. Did very well, but nearly went on to new owners. Mark was determined this was the horse to keep them going, and he said, I'll ride the partnership, and they have been doing very well so far this year. This is going to be the biggest track they've jumped together, and he's already produced the clear. Now, is that faith going to be rewarded here? 1 and 2. It is not. It is not easy, though. Not easy at all. Very early on to go. So the wall to 1, 2, 3. And it's back to 6 to what was the vertical after the triple bar. They'll be looking to bend that line a little bit more for some of them at 7. New fence 15. Desert Horse Park vertical. And from there, a chunk of what was the final line at 13A and 13B. And finally the Brown Advisory Oxa at the last. Thanks to Brown Advisory, once again, independent investment management firm. Leaves them with a couple of time as well. Total of 6 and 57.77. Unfortunately, with that refusal in there for Mark Blumen and Ubeluk. Super first round. Certainly going to pick up some big prize money tonight, whatever happens. Just has a little look back to the wall. That's a tough one to really come at that bravely and say go. So first one. Leaves the door open for the rest. 6 more. All eyes on this man for the championship, but it's going to be a little bit of a wait whatever he does. You'd hope at this point, with a refusal from the first, that he's going into the lead with Kalinka, but Carl Cook, the Californian, looking to emulate his win here last year. It's for substantially more prize money than it was last year. It was big money last year. It was close to around about $500,000 then, and they've doubled it up again this year. Carl Cook, Kalinka, overcoming the odds to be at this stage already this week. 2 Grand Prix wins behind him this season. He knows he's got the likes of Kent Farrington down at the end of this table. How much does he dare slice this? Keep coming back to the double. It's going to get tight in there. Last fence. Get the double clear in the bag, and he's going to do that. 44.99 from Carl Cook. Whether it is enough to go to the number 1 spot, we'll wait and see. Feel there's a little bit left on the bone in terms of time, but Carl, hats off to him. He has done a tremendous job this week on what's been a tough week. He has kept focused on the prize and raises for the fist pump there. Partner Mackenzie watching in the silver, delighted for the team. Good stuff. They can be very proud of how that's worked out, whatever happens in the end. And like I say, I was expecting him to go into the lead, you would hope, and he has. Clear at 44.99. Mario Laurier, Bardolina 2 for the Canadian Olympian. Tokyo pairing. Mario Delorier to be followed by Callie Schott, Adrian Sterlix, Roberto Terran and Kent Farrington. So they've got 8 there to the wall. Don't think he's going to ride any differently to the 7 earlier on. Now, Carl was landing over here in 20. Similar. Getting encouragement from the sidelines. Smooth turn. Oh, it's going to be a little way through there, and it works. 44.99 isn't going to be quick enough for Bartolina Mario Delorier. It's still going to be a solid round for them. Good performance. Goes into second, but a couple of seconds adrift. A little more than that, in fact. 46.86 clear for Mario Delorier and Bartolina into second place at the early stage here. Carl Cook keeps the nose in front. 4 more left to come into this jump off of the $1 million Coachella Cup here tonight. A buzz around the arena under the lights here in the desert. It's warming up all the time. Callie Schott just preparing with Garrett. Discussion there. Just a reminder as well, next week sees the team final of Major League Show Jumping on this Saturday night. Next week as well. Looking a little empty down the entrance tunnel for the moment. I see they're on their way, but Carl Cook has laid down a good round. He knows Kent Farrington is the danger. I think, not quite sure what's going on in the warm-up, but I think Adrian Sterlix is going to move up. So whether the horse has lost a shoe, in terms of Callie Schott's ride Garrett. Adrian Sterling then, and Vaquitoles. You can see the leading time, 44.99. Jess just confirms Garrett has lost a shoe. So Adrian Sterling's moving up. I say, he's been a World Cup winner before now here too. Should cover the ground well. Get an early indicator of a rustic vertical. I even squeeze that down to 6. Wait. Gets there in 19, second up. Oh, but a fence down. So remains behind the curve with Carl Cook still at the top. Going to leave her on 4 faults of 46.84. Carl Cook will remain in front. Carl hangs on. Shoe on for Garant and Callie shot then. So just that one slot out of order. Grand Prix winners last year in Traverse City looked really confident in the first round. Well established now on this former American Gold Cup winning horse, but that's fading into the distant past now. There are many more new chapters being made with this partnership. Ooh, close up to the wall. That's gone. So brick drops away. Just got deep into there and flicked away a brick on the wall. Whether she knows that, I don't know. But either way, you're going to keep going because 4 faults is in for good money. So just keep trucking. Leaves them on the 8, 48.71. Carl Cook remains in front. Mario Delorier second. Adrian Sterling's in third. Closing in on the final run. Callie Shot really has done some fantastic stuff over the last 12 months and is in there once again in this $1 million Grand Prix. Goes into 5th place there. And so Carl Cook, Mario Delorier, Adrian Sterling, the top 3. 2 double clears. Mario Delorier's round. Looking at a safe, conservative, big payday for him. Roberto Terran has had several of those this year. And then it just remains with Kent Farrington at the end. Carl Cook, though, worst is going to be then is... looking up there, so he's got 2 more to come. So worst is going to be his top 3. He's getting closer to that title. A lot will depend also on what Roberto does, because Carl needs to be first or second. Does he land here in 19 seconds? They're shouting from the sidelines, but he's made a very good start. Oh, and that is a nice move. This is looking slick. Whoa, and unfortunately it's not going to be, and that is going to put Carl Cook in second. By my reckoning, that should be the title for Carl individually. Just drops the shoe at the end on the 4, 44.80 for Roberto Terran. So puts him into third with BP Wakisa. Carl then right in the driving seat. Roberto Terran chases down there, has a pole down on the way. Mario Delorier's round is looking more secure, in for big money. He's sitting in second. Worst is going to be is on the podium. Final one, making his way up. Carl Cook confirmed, because the worst he will be is second, wins the championship. Kent Farrington, though, the world number 3, could walk away yet with the $1 million Coachella Cup tonight with Landon. Would see him with 2 Grand Prix wins this season on Major League Jumping as well. Carl Cook has left the door ajar. 44.99, but we have seen one time a little bit quicker. 44.80 from Roberto Terran. Ken Farrington and this wonderfully athletic combination though. Whoa, he's running. Drifts a little off there, but he's going to be quicker as he hits this, but as long as he doesn't hit it, lands in 19. A little bit unsettled down there. It is no doubt fast though. If he leaves them up, he has got Cook into second. He's got to leave it up though. He's got to have an athletic shot here, and he doesn't. It sees Carl Cook as the winner and the champion. What a week for him. And Ken Farrington giving it every effort with Landon. Finishes on the 4, 43.75. He was over a second faster for Ken Farrington to go into third place in the end. Oh, bounces out the back bar and it all collapses down. And the final championship will finish Carl Cook, Ken Farrington and Erin Ballard. Carl Cook does the double as he wins the championship and the $1 million Brown Advisory Grand Prix here at the Desert Horse Park. The Californian wins on home ground, and that is a fantastic result for him. And there is the trophy, the Waterford Crystal Trophy, that will go to the winner. It's been specifically crafted for this event, even features a few palm trees on there. $1 million going the way of Carl Cook. Well, a chunk of it is the class overall is $1 million. Carl Cook and Kalinka, but also the individual title for the championship. Mario Delorier finishing in second place, third place to Kent Farrington, and as say for the championship sees Carl win, Kent in second and Erin in third. But superb jumping, Mario Delorier playing his cards just right there with the double clear to finish in second spot. Carl Cook though follows up from that Grand Prix win last year as well for him, and that is a very, very good result for Carl. Like I say, he's overcome quite a bit of adversity this week. He's been determined, he's dug in, braved it out, and wins again with Kalinka, and that will give him his third Grand Prix win of Major League show jumping for this year as well. Those further down the line, Connor Swale, Paul O'Shea for the top dozen. Those missing out on the 4, and that sees the likes of Niall Nasser, Dara Kenny and Mimi Gotchman, and we're getting set for the presentation. But some superb highlights from this Brown Advisory $1 million Grand Prix here in the desert.
First round and 7 was 35 ball line for the jump off round. What an amazing jump off we have. Only 2 doublers as these horses each try to put in everything on the line. What an amazing first ever they go.
Wonderful competition that it's been here tonight in the desert. What a lineup as well. Brilliant set of riders coming together literally from across the globe to compete for this final stage individually of Major League Jumping. And the inaugural Coachella Cup, supported by Brown Advisory, will go to a Californian, to Carl Cook, who is down with Hannah as she wraps up the competition here from the Desert Horse Park.
Wow. Amazing round that was. Just talk to me about this horse. She's just out of the world.
She is. She just means everything to me, and you know, every time she comes out, she gives everything, and she has such fire and such passion, and it makes you want to ride every day.
This is a really successful venue for you. This is the second year you've won here in a row.
I should keep coming back.
So talk to me a little bit about, do you think that you won it here?
You know, I knew when I completed the course that I didn't shut the door. Sometimes when you do a jump off, you're like, yeah, door's shut. But I knew there was some extra time to be made. You know, I added in a couple of places. But I think for me, there was no one place where I won it. I think it was just the culmination of every turn and making it that much harder to go faster, so people had to take more chances and more likely to have a rail.
So, of course, this was an amazing competition, huge prize money on the line, but so in the back of your mind.
I mean, I think it's most important to go from, class to class or event to event. When you're thinking, I want to go for that, leading rider, that's great, but leading rider is made up of a bunch of individual events. So you get to leading rider by making a bunch of individual events and, being consistent the whole year.
Exactly. I was just going to ask you about that because this is now your third Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix win of the year. How does that sound?
It sounds great. I should keep competing with Major League.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at your screen for us over there. Talk us through this round, this incredible jump-off round, and how you approached it.
Yeah, so I wanted a nice flyer to fence 1, not take too much advantage of fence 2 because it's a wall. It's a bit dangerous to angle it. It's a normal. And then the curve to this fence was very blind, so you can't cut too much. 8 strides on a bend. There is a 7 there, but I felt it was safer to do 8, so I could be coming back to the left, shave a little bit on landing, not on takeoff. This was quite a blind one. We were very close. She saved me there. You could see how hard she tried. And then a big turn here for me. I could take advantage here and come flying at this, where a lot of people, they had A down, where I knew Kalinka would fire there. That was an advantage I knew I had. And then at that point, I knew, 8 strides down the last, great.
Thank you so much, Colin. Congratulations. You are the winner tonight. You are the Major League Show Jumping season champion.
Thank you so much. I'm just so excited. My team is the best, and all the people that go into this, all the horses, it's a whole team effort, and it's because of them I'm here.
Thanks so much, Carl. We'll get on with your preparations for the prize-giving ceremony. Well, that prize-giving ceremony will be taking place in just a few moments' time, awarding the prizes for this richest Grand Prix in the United States and the Major League Show Jumping Championship. Carl Cook is your winner of both of those titles. What a night here at the Desert International Horse Park. I'll hand over now to our arena party for the prize givings.
Fantastic competition playing out here at the Desert Horse Park, and as you said, it's a wonderful way to bring a close to the Major League Show Jumping individual title, and here to the richest Grand Prix in the United States of America for 2023, right here at the Desert Horse Park with the Brown Advisory $1 million Coachella Cup, the first running of the Coachella Cup, and it certainly delivers with a home win as well for the Californian Carl Cook, who will bring it home as the win here this week. It's been a tough week up and down for him, but it's certainly an up he completes on to win not only the Coachella Cup here tonight, but also the individual title for Major League Show Jumping as well. So top three just in readiness. This will also be followed by the presentation to the individual top three from the championship for Major League Show Jumping in 2023 as well. It's going to be a new name on that list too, with the last 2 years, seeing the first year with Paul O'Shea of Ireland. Last year it was Kent Farrington. Kent Farrington going so close here today as well, but the drop of a pole puts Carl Cook in the driving seat for both the individual title and the inaugural winner of the Coachella Cup. The $1 million class will go to a Californian, and that's great to see out here on the West Coast once again. It's been his third Major League Grand Prix victory of the season, and what a terrific partnership with Kalinka. Follows up from what he did last year, which was winning the Grand Prix as well. So he stepped it up another gear. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our top three, the winners of the $1 million Brown Advisory Coachella Cup, leading them in. Congratulations to Carl Cook. Terrific lineup for the top three with Ken Farrington. It is Mario Delorier in second place and Carl Cook in the number one spot as we welcome our top three in. Some fabulous horses as well with Kalinka, of course, with Carl, Mario Delorier and Bardolina too, and with Ken Farrington and Landon closing out for our presentations. And delighted to welcome out the team from Brand Advisory as well to make the presentations here. Thanks to them for making this all happen, of course, to all the partners and those involved at the Desert International Horse Park as well. It's been a fabulous week of competition leading up to this. Brand Advisory, an independent investment management firm, privileged to serve the inspiring groups of individuals, families, non-profits and charities, institutions and financial intermediaries around the world. Brand Advisory, thoughtful investing, and delighted to welcome Mike Hankin alongside the team. He's president and CEO, alongside Doug Godine, head of private client business development, James Steerhoff, portfolio manager, John Bassett, and Harriet Lomax representing Brand Advisory, and Mike Hankin, president and CEO, going forward, and congratulating the top three as they head towards the podium. Our top three of Ken Farrington in third, Mario Delorier in second, and Carl Cook, our winner of the inaugural Brand Advisory Coachella Cup. And welcoming our top three to the podium, alongside our team for Brand Advisory. And so in third place for our top three, congratulations in third to Kent Farrington and Hetty McNerney's Landon, finishing third place. Second place going to Canada to Mario Delorier and the Wishing Well Farms Bardolina 2. But the winners of the $1 million Coachella Cup, Carl Cook, Sydney Osby's Kalinka. The presentation of a brand new trophy as well from Waterford Crystal that's been designed specifically for this, for the Coachella Cup. And not only featuring the palm trees, but many aspects of the desert out there. And our thanks to Brand Advisory as all the team joining here for the presentation. We get photos of our top three. Carl Cook, double-handed, raise the flowers, there we go. And the trophy. No holding it back here this week. And so, ladies and gentlemen, may we ask you to stand. A fabulous night of competition here in the desert. The national anthem of our winning rider, the Californian in the driving seat. Congratulations to the winner of the $1 million Coachella Cup. It is, of course, Carl Cook, the United States of America. Congratulations to Carl. And so we've got a champagne toast and a very special award to the winning owner as well of Kalinka, but raising a glass first. Then a little champagne. There's more champagne to flow yet through the day. And so let's bring them up together, all three on the top of the podium. 1, 2, 3, cheers, well done. And presentation first of the Irene Newith Trophy and gift that's going to go to the winning owner, to Sydney Osby, but our thanks to Irene Newith, who's produced some amazing jewellery that's been worn by some of the greats on the red carpets around the world, including Julianne Moore, Jennifer Garner, Gwyneth Paltrow, Reese Witherspoon, and of course they're here on site as well. They produce some one-of-a-kind, wonderful pieces, and that will go to the winning owner of Kalinka as well. But Carl, picking it up on their behalf. And so, set to remount, and we will say what amazing horses they've been, what an amazing lineup we've seen over tonight and throughout the season of Major League Jumping as well. But our top three set to rejoin those fabulous horses once again. Kalinka van Zorgvliet for Sydney Osby of California, for Carl Cook in the plate there for the family will be the winner. Kalinka following up on that Grand Prix win here last year as well. Well done to them. Bardolina ever consistent for the Olympic ride of Mario Delorier, and multiple wins this season for Ken Farrington, and Hetty McNerney's Landon have been a wonderful lineup. We've got the presentation of the championship still to come. Carl's up. Borrowed ride for the victory ride. And all set to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, our top three in the inaugural running of the $1 million Brown Advisory Coachella Cup. It is congratulations to our top three of Kent Farrington, of Mario Delorier, and your winner is California's own Carl Cook. Carl Cook takes home the trophy, the wonderful Waterford Crystal. Our thanks to Brown Advisory once again. And Carl Cook is the man who takes home 3 Grand Prix this season in Major League and a $1 million experience for the night. And so we'll be moving on to the individual championship presentation for Major League Show Jumping for 2023. This rewarding the consistent performers throughout the whole of the year, and it has seen some superb performances, but the man who takes the title has now lifted 3 Grand Prix wins, including here at the Desert Horse Park for the Coachella Cup. And welcoming the founders of Major League Jumping, Matt Morrissey and Keane White, to make the presentations to our leading 3. It's a mix of Canada and the United States of America, and finishing in 3rd place for the championship, a brilliant consistent performance throughout the season for Canada's Erin Ballard. Flowers to Erin in 2nd place for the championship. He was champion last year. It is another consistent performance for Kent Farrington in 2nd. And the winner of the title in 2023. It's been $1 million day and a little bit more now as well. Congratulations
the USA's Carl Cook. And so the trophy aloft for more accolades through the season, but 3 brilliant performers that have given us so many hours and so many split seconds too of brilliant entertainment. Thank you to Matt and Kean for making the presentation and bringing all of his trophies together. Congratulations to Carl, who lifts lots of silverware, glassware. He lifted the gold cup earlier on this year, drinking out of that. He'll give it another glug out of a new trophy as well, the Coachella Cup this time around as well. Do not drop it. This one at least is more like a glass. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the season for the individuals here. It's champagne time. It's time to let them go. Our top 3 in the championship, Erin Ballard, Ken Farrington, and the man of the moment, Carl Cook. Well, very well done. Carl Cook, what a day at the office. They never mind being soaked at the end of this one. Soaked in champagne. It's been a brilliant day. Thank you to everybody at the Desert Horse Park for producing a world-class event once again. We're back tomorrow, more 5-star action with the winning rounds and much more tomorrow. But it is almost week 1 completed, and definitely completion of the very first exciting running of the Coachella Cup and the completion of Major League individual titles for 2023. We'll see you very, very soon. It is next week, the final of the team competition for Major League Jumping next Saturday night.